A very warm welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and good evening. Welcome back to More Female Racers Season 4 here at the SimGrid. David Christie and Laura Luft here with you for live coverage of tonight's second round at Spa-Francorchamps in Belgium. Last time out, it was the 177 team of GTWR R8G Female Racing of Sarah Dove and Andrea Capoccia who took the win at Monza, getting in early. But here is one of the most formidable and intimidating tracks in all of European GT3 racing, Laura. We are here at Spa.
Yeah, good evening as well from my side. And David, it's crazy that we are in Spa because this is actually a really nice track for all the female racers to be out there, and also then with her co-drivers to actually hit this kind of historical track in the Ardennes woods. And we can definitely say this will be fantastic racing and also kind of interesting what we see with the strengths going on. But actually what we do have then is also like a hot lap we would like to show you, and this was actually commentated by Yvonne Hoefelaar, also my former teammate, and hopefully we can see how she takes these turns, as it is kind of a pretty technical and tricky track, I can tell.
Around 300 meter sign, hit the apex and go early and easy on the throttle for the first turn. At Eru's I need to do now a little lift, but with another setup I hope to go full throttle there. Lift around 20%. Straighten up the wheel, get on to camel straight. Here you can have some slipstream, you can overtake here, also with the chicane what is coming. Brake before the curb starts on the left, go into second gear, let the car roll. You can cut here. Little tap on the brake around 20% and then go into third gear. Brake around the curbstone on the left, go into second. Little tap on the brake here and go into third in the end of the corner. Go into third at Coulomb. Can unstable the car sometimes, as you can see. And then brake before the curbstone starts at the left. Let the car roll, go on the throttle, little tap on the brake, around 20%, go on the throttle again. Go into second gear at Stavelo, and then it's full throttle till the chicane. Brake after the white line, before the 100 meter sign, go into first gear. Little bit on the throttle, go on the throttle again, and this was a lap around Spa-Francorchamps from Imola from R8G Sports.
So there you go, a very, very technical circuit. And continuing on the build-up then, let's head over to have a chat with one of the special people that we had a build-up with very, very shortly. But just thinking about that, Laura, I mean, Yvonne obviously guiding us around this very, very technical track, and really looking forward to getting a look at that interview very, very shortly. But I mean, through qualifying, it is so important to get a good time here at this track, probably more than any other track on the season.
Yeah, that's right. And also that we have the silver class and the pro class coming later on, where we have the Pro M starting right away. And also we have Sarah Fair right in the M class driving her lap time. So we have these split of 10 minutes for the drivers, which is pretty, pretty a short time actually, where they have no chance to do arrows and also being actually quite busy on track, and hopefully then they have the chance to make a good lap time, as you said, as you can't have any kind of traffic which is hindering you from a good lap time. And Hedda Rankster on the 4th place now with the 102 car out and rolling. And yes, we will definitely see how this will roll tonight, especially when we hit then the bus stop chicane and also Eau Rouge, where we are right now.
Yeah, just watching Cosmo Marsh coming up the hill just now. But just to bring you up to speed, if this is your first time watching more female racers, why? Where have you been? You've missed an amazing opening round last time out at Monza, but qualifying worked a little bit different to some of the other competitions that we do here at the SimGrid. We split it into 2 10-minute sessions back to back, so we're in the middle of the first one, which is why we can chat about it, because most of the drivers still on their outlap just now. Out on track just now is the Pro-Am and the Am drivers. So the Pro-Am and the amateur drivers out there for the first 10 minutes, then it's the Pro and the Silver drivers out for their final 10 minutes. The way that this championship works is that the female drivers take the first stint and they take the last stint as well. Now, they are teamed up with, it can be any gender that is for their teammate, but it has to be the female driver that starts and finishes the race as well. Now, you can have an all-female team if you wish, or you could have a mixed team if you wish. And we see quite the variety throughout the field just now. But now we've got about essentially 5 minutes left to go in this qualifying session here at Spa. So what you can find is that it's usually, Laura, about 2 to 3 minutes to go. That's when we see the times coming in thick and fast.
Yeah, definitely. And now we have the first one, which is from Melissa Taplin with a 2:22. That's definitely quite nice. And also, as we have the Ferrari as a spec car now in the spec series, the 488 GT3 Evo, which everybody actually took, is obvious that they have quite a good timing out there on track, but we definitely will see the times dropping quite shortly. And also then our 60 minutes race afterwards, when we have the 3 mandatory stops, when the 20 minutes split between the drivers, we definitely will see also dropping times, because sometimes even the middle stint has some pushy laps where you try to close some gaps. And also what we have seen last time, when we got really go to the last stint of the drivers, then they are actually having a really pushing for their best lap times in the last sector of the race.
Yeah, the thing with that as well is that you're going to see the fastest lap times, you would think, from the way that it's set up, coming in that final 10 minutes with the pros and the silvers out in the last stint. Now, I want to bring to your attention, actually, one of our brand new teams for this week have kind of got themselves in a little bit of hot water. I believe, from what I saw, the 28 Godspeed Angels of Vanni Jakob and Rainer Marleo Putra ended up getting themselves disqualified, from what I heard in qualifying, because they went out of the garage into the session while the race control meeting was underway. But from what I've just heard from our production team, I believe they've been given a little bit of a slap on the wrist and said that they can actually take part in qualifying, and it was just a disqualification from the practice. So great to see that race control being a little bit lenient on that first qualifying session.
Yeah, and also if you're a new joiner, you actually want to participate and not sitting back, and that's why it's actually quite nice that they still have the chance to race with us, because we always are happy if we see new drivers joining, which we definitely have a lot of today. And also it's pretty nice to see that we also have many livery changes, and look at that, Andy the Lap and the doggy on the car is really nice that they are also driving with their complete family members, including the animals, which is what we always talk about, David. Is it right that we have like a family business when we see that, as many fans and family are watching the race, cheering for their superheroes on track, and it's always really nice that they are completely there. And as we have the production team chatting about it, maybe the dog is also sometimes driving. No, I don't expect that, but yeah, it's pretty nice to see that we have so many new joiners as well to this series, because it's the 4th season we have right now, and great to see that many try at least to bring other females or teammates into the race.
Now, on a completely benign conversation topic, that livery that we saw there from Charlotte Robertson, I've got to say, I do like a good livery, and that is a good livery, that green and gold outfit that is just making its way around just now in the number 11 there. Cracking little livery on that car for the Hitode Racing. Higgs Boson, loving the little physics reference in that team name there. But 1 minute 30 left to go in this qualifying session. It's Sarah Fair for the 139 team up in pole position. Team Cake, Angel Cake just now, but it's Hedda Rangster for turn 1. Hedda Rangster Racing goes across the line. Isn't quite enough, just outside of that time from Sarah Fair. That is a cracking gap there. And cracking pole time there for Sarah Fair over Hedda Rangster. And then in third place at the moment is the 205 Luna Nera car of Alita Indriani. But that looks like we're coming through our final cars now of qualifying. And Laura, I've got to be honest, Spa, is it a track that you would love to drive in real life?
Yeah, actually, when you have the chance to do it, that's actually the best. And I was lucky to do it. Not in a race yet, but maybe next year. Let's see how that goes. Fingers crossed for that. But I had to drive as well here in ACC my first 12 hours race, which was pretty funny. So then I had the GT4 car, but I guess with the Ferrari it makes more fun as well. When you go up Eau Rouge, you can be a bit more flat out. Let's see how that goes. Or you lift a bit, as we saw. Also, like Yvonne explained to us before, how the actual best track time and also shifting procedures on track would be. And we see Charlotte Robertson, waving at us and maybe hearing us, greeting us with flashlights, you never know, or maybe testing the buttons, which is important for the race, as you have to pull through to that completely full pack, which we have here on track. And actually, with the 28 drivers today, it's pretty good. Also, when we see then our starting grid and everybody is just crumbling around, heading up for their next chance to do the silver, and pro now really driving out and smashing the lap times. And Andy the Lap is following up on the last one. They have. And David, it's actually quite fun. We just already, and we don't want to jinx it, we discussed how this race will be, but I definitely can say that we see some action later on. And also, as we have the new joiners, pretty mix up in the grid, I would say.
Yes, we've got a little top secret poll going on behind the backgrounds, and after the first half an hour has gone by, we might have a little chat about it, but probably best not for our future careers. But Laura, I mean, joking aside, on that conversation, as Elisa Indriani goes up in second place there, that's a cracking time there, just beating out Hedda Rangster, and Lisa Louise Keane again putting in a great lap time there for the number 7 Wild Things Rossi Racing. That changes things, Laura, because obviously I asked that having no idea that you'd actually been round Spa. So, in your experience, then, how well does the sim get across the undulation and how the height changes?
Actually, if you're just sitting also in the motion simulator, then you can pretty feel the bumps and everything which is around that historic track. That's definitely true, and I like that ACC has really, designed it nicely to drive on the marbles. You have no grip on the outside. That's definitely true where we see them racing now, actually doing blanchiment. And I have to say it comes really close to the real thing. Also the bus stop chicane. You sometimes really expect it to come that early, but it is there definitely like a wall. And you have to match your braking points. So it's quite a nice job from ACC to do that. As we see, Melissa Taplin had quite of a fun situation here. That's what I talked about, the breaking point, and that was actually the thing. Bus stop is really technical and difficult, and let's see how this will turn out to be in the next rounds. It's quite interesting also what Elu Gobi can pick up.
Yeah, we'll certainly see there as we see a lap time getting ruined by the Pro and the silver cars making their way around just now. And already butchered my first name of the night, Laura. Oscar Sandberg pointed out in chat that it's Hedda Rangsteder, not Rangster. So apologies, but you better get used to it because, again, being Scottish, we get a free pass to pretty much destroy anybody's actual name here. But out there, we saw the hot lap there from Yvonne Hoeflaar there in the 150 machine. Be interested to see where that that car actually ends up, because the RHG Esports of her and Giorgio Simonini, very, very fast last time out at Monza. But again, maybe they will be trying a little bit harder, I think, because they had that 4th place finish. I think if they get a better start today, I think they've got a chance of being in the top 2.
Exactly, and Ole Gobi was 3rd the last time, so that actually would hopefully help for them to directly pull away from the rest. But let's see, because qualifying, as we always say, that's really, really key, that you just make a good position on track, because we know that the mid-pack field is kind of a tricky one to go through, especially when you start here. And but as we talk about the chat, I have to come back to Oscar, because I have to also ask him, when are you coming back to More Female Races? Because he joined season 2 with Charlie Martin. So we put him back out there, and it's really, really nice to see that they still follow us and come back watching the YouTube channel and racing in so many years now, also with ACC. And you see that it pulls through a lot of other interesting drivers out there, trying to also follow the lead of the others. And let's see what they pull through. And we have many new names, as we already mentioned, out there, new joiners today, and also they will bring a good spicy flavor onto the track. And let's see what the timing for Ole Gobi will be when they pass the racing line. Of course, it's number 1.
My goodness, 3 seconds. That's a time and a half. Here is the Amazante then. Altea book out of the final corner, comes across the line. What can Altea do? Enough to get 4th place just now in that silver class car. I'm going to throw you completely under the bus here, Laura, and suggest that yourself and Oscar for season 5.
Yeah, you pull me on the spot. I already mentioned to him, if my PC is ready and I get some training, no problem. But then you have to search out for another commentator. That's your job then, David.
Right, okay, challenge accepted. If you fancy joining me in the commentary booth for season 5, get your answers on a postcard, and we will get that sorted out. So confirmed then that Laura Luff joining us for season 5. You heard it here first, folks, but 4.5 minutes left to go in qualifying just now. Ole Gobi in the number 12 machine is currently in pole position. That's of course the Grip Hacks Engineering. That is a slight change because we've obviously got 2 11 cars in the race tonight, but Ole Gobi ahead of Sarah Dove. So first blood then to Ole Gobi, with Sarah Dove in 2nd place then, and then it is Earl Verwey in the 997 showing up in 3rd place then with that hot and spicy machine. But I'd imagine that is just watching Sarah Dove though, 0.4 of a second up just now. And Ole Gobi, Laura, to get a 1.5 seconds over everyone, you know, at this stage of qualifying, that is very, very impressive.
Actually, that is. And Sarah Dove, the winner from last time in Monza. They are always, I mean, we normally talk about the same people in the front rows, and it's always fun that they just battle each other up against whatever racetrack comes. And we still have so many other racetracks to come where they can definitely do this again. And Sarah Dove and Ole Gobi, I think they know quite well how they drive and what they do. But also nice to see that Yvonne is also up in 3rd place for Altea Book, and Sophia Anrun, and Jenica Mugli, by the way, in 6th place, and Davide Andrade in 8th. So that's actually quite nice that they all come together. And Mia Svensson, the top 3 kind of in qualifying last time. They are now reversed a bit, but yeah, you find them all again in the same spot.
Wow, all the times are changing very, very quickly, and I completely missed Yvonne getting up into 3rd place there because my brain just completely stopped as I had to refresh the timing. So Yvonne Hooflaar up into 3rd position then in that number 150 RHG Esports machine, sharing that car with Giorgio Simonini. That is a great start for that qualifying right there, but again, plenty more in the tank here. Celine Witcher out the final corner then, goes across the line, can't improve on the position, still 3.4 seconds behind our pole sitter just now, Ole Gobi, 2:17.625. And this now is likely going to be the last 2 laps here in qualifying. So it's Gobi from Doe, from Huflar, from Sophie Aronwin up in 4th position. That's a great qualifying performance for the GTWR R8G female racing number 2 outfits. And the other thing that's really got me by surprise here is the fact that both Turn 1, Laura, and GTWR have got 4 teams in the race tonight. That is an insane investment of personnel into this championship.
And also great to see that they bring so many up together, because then you can share the setups, hopefully. Also, if you race for another competitor team, but you're still under one roof, so to say, and also you train together. And I think this leverages quite well how many try to team up, because you learn from each other and you can participate in so many other championships as well if you have a full stack of team behind you. And I find it really nice that they have more teams clustering together under one roof, because that makes more fun if you just have enough fans and competitors besides you as a wing buddy as well. So I really like that they do this.
Yeah, it's a fantastic thing to see. Just noticing a yellow flag then at the top of the Eau Rouge there. And I think that was actually the team number 18 of Jessica Pelletier, who presumably has had an incident at the top of Radion. But 48 seconds left to go in qualifying for round 2 of More Female Racers Season 4 here at Spa. A very good evening to everyone joining us on YouTube. Hope you all had a lovely, lovely weekend. Thank you so much for spending your time with us tonight. Sophie Aronwin there, up into 2nd place. That time from Alou Gobi is under threat now. It's come massively, massively down from that 1.7 now to under half a second. Sophie Aronwin, as it stands, 2nd place on the grid right now. And Altea Book in 3rd position. And I tell you what, this is getting very, very close.
Yeah, and also unexpectedly, because they have to really push up front, and also then hopefully, that Sarah Duff can maybe just bring it up more. But for now, this would be really, really tricky for her. But it's great to see on the 4th place. Maybe there is some way of doing it. But the timings are over. And what a great first 3 places actually for that row. That's pretty nice.
Absolutely is. And just hearing that some of the cars actually getting a little bit of a slap across the list. That's the Pro and Silver cars for ignoring a blue flag. Now, that was one of the cars that was already on a hot lap there, and actually ended up getting caught out by that and had to ditch their fast lap attempt. All because they caught up with the cars that were up in front there. I think that was actually the number 89 of Melissa Taplin, if I recall correctly. But qualifying is done and dusted. The cars on their final laps just now. As it stands then, Alou Gobi on pole position by 0.3 of a second over the 77 GTWR R8G female racing team of Sophie Aronwin. That is an amazing result for Sophie. Really, really happy to see that. Altea Book currently in 3rd position just now. We'll change it if anything updates itself just now. But Sarah Dove in 4th position. Esmeralda van der Nald in 5th position just now. But Mia Svensson is on a charge right now. What can she do? Comes across the line. 2nd place for Mia Svensson. It's not to be for Sophie Aronwin. And that is a last lap there for Mia Svensson. And what a move. Sarah Dove then up into 2nd place. That is unbelievable.
Amazing. The last minute just really solved that out. It's like crazy. Mia Svensson on 3. So now all together, but this is a great top 10, I have to say already. And also the others, all nice together. Perfect.
Yeah, Bea Bachenska there jumps up 7 positions up into 17th position. Here's Laura Valenza in the number 87 car, currently in P14, comes across the line, can't improve on the position, still there. Wow, that was mad mayhem on the final 2 minutes there of qualifying here for More Female Racers Season 4 Round 2 at Spa. But Alou Gobi taking pole position from Sarah Dove, who sneaks in at the last just 1/10 of a second behind your pole sitter. Row 2 is going to be Mia Svensson and Sophie Ronwin in 3rd and 4th position. Althea Book taking 5th position. Esmeralda van der Nalt in 6th. 7th place for Yvonne Hoeflaar. 8th place for Natalie Lee, 9th place for Celine Witcher, and Jenny Camugli in the top 10. We'll run through the rest of the starting grid in just a couple of minutes' time when we head down to the grid. But this is now where we have to start turning our attention to the start of this race, Laura, and probably one of the most difficult starts that these drivers are going to have to face this season.
Yeah, definitely. We have a rolling start, which is actually quite good because they still have the time to do one lap out there, just warm up the tires and warm up the brakes. But then, La Source is the first corner, and then they just pedal to the metal when it goes down then to Eau Rouge and Radillon, and also the Camel Straight, where we normally have the chance to do a lot of overtaking, but then it crumbles again, normally in Eau Rouge already, although there's still place. Hopefully that's not going to happen. Let's don't jinx it, but you never know. Le Comp is also quite technical, and then we have the other tracks where we look at right now when you come down to Pouhon and Campos Stavelot, and also what we know, Blanchimont, all these kind of nice sections before we come to the bus stop chicane. Quite enough space for overtaking, but as we know, they try to make their first impressions in the first corners, although we have still 60 minutes. But yeah, you need to understand as well that the slowest female driver of the grid has to start. So that also means that they try to push, and then the fastest one, no matter what it is in the middle, it could be female or male. And then you have, again, the other races in the back, and we still have another interview prepared, which we actually want to show to you and present.
Well, we are very fortunate to be joined in the interview booth by a no stranger to the SimGrids, a bit of a legend in her own making, but I'm going to let her tell you a little bit more about herself. It's the one and only Verena May. Verena, thank you for joining us today. Firstly, obviously, again, when doing our due diligence for these interviews, we do a little bit of research, and my goodness me, you've pretty much done it all in real life, haven't you?
Well, there's still so many things I want to do. So basically, I've done rally, and I absolutely love rally, which is my dream. So I've accomplished what I've set out to do, but I think there's still more.
Let's have a look into sim racing, because that's obviously why we're here today, and obviously more female racers by Thrustmaster Rockets. Now, you're obviously a very passionate advocate for getting females into to racing as well. Why do you think events like this are so important for the female sim racing community?
Well, motorsports in general, you rarely see females on the track. More and more these days, but especially in sim racing across the board, whether it's virtual or in real life, I think it's important to have more female representation, not only at the track, but behind the wheels. So an event or a championship like the More Female Racers, where rookie drivers just stepping in and getting to know how and what it's like to compete in sim racing, is very important to have that support and a coach alongside them, which is how I really got into sim racing for the first season of the More Female Racers Championship.
And how did that transition happen? Because as you said, you've obviously done rallying, you've done drifting. How did the transition into sim racing happen? When did that all start?
Well, to be honest, I got this rig. Actually, I had a sim racing dream back in 2017 as I got introduced to esports, and I was invited to host an event, and from there I started talking to the drivers, top drivers in the world, and in my head I'm like, wait, what am I doing? What am I doing in real life racing? Because sim racing is so accessible. In real life racing, it costs so much money, thousands upon thousands of dollars just to get in the car for one weekend, and that's not even including the cost of the car. And it kind of just opened up a whole new world to me, and not only the racing part, but the knowledge of all these drivers, the passion for motorsports, which I believe is the same across the board. And even though we talk about real cars versus virtual cars, the dynamics is pretty much the same. I mean, it's not exactly the same, but it's it's pretty realistic. So just to get behind the wheel and to feel that myself, and to be able to finally dial myself in to feel like I'm behind the wheel of a real race car was a big deal.
On that note then, we're obviously in the middle of just starting our fourth season here. And I mean, how has More Female Racers been for you? Because you've been involved almost from, pretty much from the start. Has there been one season that stood out for you? Obviously, we had the Lamborghinis last time. Has there been one particular season that stood out, or have you just enjoyed every step of the journey?
I think I've enjoyed every step of the journey. Of course, the first season is always very special for me because Taya had asked me to be part of it, and at the time I didn't even have ACC. I was like, what's this game? And she said, download here, this is Discord. And so I was coming in at the very beginning and learning things on the fly. Luckily I had an amazing co-driver, Gregor Schill, and he basically was able to coach me along the way, learning the tracks, one track after another every single week. That was the hardest part, and to be honest, it was very, very stressful. But going into season 2, I was a lot more prepared, just knowing how the game works, how to start a race and everything. And I just think that experience alone at the start, to have a co-driver alongside a rookie driver is essential, which is why I absolutely love this series.
Fantastic to hear. And the series itself has been such an inspiration for many women to actually get into sim racing and to get involved. If there's anyone that's maybe been watching the races so far and thinks, yeah, I quite fancy that, but maybe doesn't have the confidence or doesn't believe they have the pace or ability, what words would you say to them?
I would say just do it. You'll never be ready. And this is advice that my real life rally mentor gave me. Going into my first rally, we had this car and I'm like, I need more preparation. I need to be ready. He said, you'll never be ready. You just have to do it. And the great thing about sim racing is, if you make a mistake, obviously you don't want to, crash into other people because they're going also for the championship, but it happens. And, the consequences are nothing like real life. So just do it.
Verena May, thank you so much. It's been such an honour to have a chat with you today, and look forward to seeing you back out there on track.
Thank you, David. It's a pleasure. Good luck, everybody.
So there we go, the ever awesome Verena May, and honestly, that is one of the coolest interviews that I've been able to do so far here with the SimGrid. There is so much that we ended up having to cut out of that just to try and trim it down into a usable piece on this, so hopefully we can get the full interview up very, very soon. But let's turn our attention back to tonight then. More Female Racers Season 4 Round 2 here at Spa, and let's go through the starting order. Alou Gobi on pole position from Sarah Dove. It's then Mia Svensson on row 2 along with Sophie Ronwin in 4th position. It's Althea Book on 5th position with Esmeralda van der Nald, row 3 in 6th position. Yvonne Hoeflaar in 7th with Natalie Lee in 8th position as well. Celine Witcher is 9th on row 5 with Jenny Camugli in 10th position. Denise Pope on row 6 alongside Jessica Pelletier, and then in row 7 is Eva de Andrade in 13th position, with 14th taken up by Laura Valenza. 15th position is Roberta Leska, and then 16th is Maria Krychkova in 16th. As I said, 17th is Beta Bachenska after that cracking final lap there with Sarah Fair in 18th on row 9. Row 10 is Martin Edwards and Elisa Indriani. Row 11 is Hedda Rangsater, and in 22nd is Lisa Louise Keane. 23rd is Annalise Riot, and 24th is Cosmo Marsh. 25th position for Melissa Taplin, and Andy Lab makes it 26th position on row 13. Row 14 then is going to be the number 11 of Charlotte Robertson, and then at the back of the grid, newcomer to the season, Vanni Jakob in the number 28 Godspeed Angels machine. But the cars making their way through the second half of the circuit. And Laura, it's all about this run up the hill into Eau Rouge and Raidillon.
Yeah, definitely. And also I can see in Althea Book's face, she's kind of actually not stressed, but she is really focused and discussing and chatting with her teammates. And that's what we all said. You have so many mechanics and engineers also in the back from the team, and also with your teammates. You just discuss in this first warm-up lap, actually, when you go to the start, what you have to do, setting up, is everything right, reassuring that you don't have to worry. And also, as Verena said, you're never ready. You just have to do it, jump in and race, because that's the only time where you just actually learn. And actually, I can tell I'm more nervous if I'm doing a sim racing start than a real race start, to be funny, because you have so much stuff to care about in sim racing, and that's what we can definitely see here. You have to be close to the other cars in front, don't mess it up. But yeah, those ladies, they know how to drive, and although they're nervous, they will have to manage it, and we will definitely see how the start will go.
56 drivers taking part in tonight, 28 teams over the course of the evening. The cars making their way through Blanchemont for the first time of asking here at Spa, the 4.352 mile track in the heart of Belgium. One of Europe's finest GT3 racing tracks is going to be blessed by more female racers here from the SimGrid tonight. Huge thank you as always to our commercial partners as the cars line up two by two by two by two. But this is it now. This is a huge moment then for the drivers as they get themselves into position, and it's all the way down. Now, Laura, what you'll enjoy here is that I've managed to refrain myself from getting overly excited at this last corner here, because I always got myself mixed up thinking this is it, this is the run down to the start here. But of course it's the new start, so it's after this corner, after La Source, and then we get going. But with just a couple of seconds left to go, I'm going to hand things over to you, and you can take us through the start of this race here at Spa.
Yeah, perfect. Everybody is in the double file as we see, and this is also what you mentioned. You are quite halfway nervous, halfway on the throttle. You have to just brake because the leader, and this is Alou Gobi, she's taking the pace, and everybody has to just wait like Cass for their actual fight. And this is where they can pick up the speed, but not too early. It takes a while still, so they are trying still to be side by side. But Saradov has her nose in. She's really up and running, maybe in a better position than actually Alou Gobi, because she can be on the left side, and Alou Gobi has to make sure that she just moves in. Once the race has been started, and this is now, we have green, 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 the green flag is running, and also we see that Saradov is actually quite in a good position, but yeah, Alou Gobi can actually make that way, and also as they're all close together, they don't want to smash into their car. We have one car flying, 2 or 3 cars are just involved in that. We have a pile-up in the back. This is where they got stuck a bit, but luckily the rest has been pulled through away, so the M's have actually now the problem in the back of the field. They maybe just, yeah, this is what happens in the last pack of it, but actually we can definitely say that the rest of us made it quite nicely through Eau Rouge, where we also have that in Le Combe, a bit of kind of a track situation there, but most up and running are the Gobi, Saradov, and Mia Svens now up in the front, and the rest just piles up together. We are now with Celine Witsche, and as we said, yeah, the Ams are in the back.
Now, did I see things at Le Combe there? Did I see the Wild Things Racing of 26 of Sarah Moore losing it and spinning out the car? We'll keep getting an idea on that very, very shortly. I think it was actually, from what I'm being told, it was Maria Krichkova and the Team Cake Renetta Racing who had a little bit of an excursion into Le Combe there. But side-by-side racing all the way through the pack, it's still Alou Gobi in the lead from Saradov and Mia Svensson as we head round. Just a reminder, thanks to our commercial partners at simhound.com, you can get 10% off when you use the code MFR10. That's 10% off when you use the code MFR10. Thank you very much to the guys and girls over at Simhound for that one. But still, 3/4 of the way through the opening lap, and I feel comfortable to say this now, Laura, but the pre-show chat was about how difficult we thought the start was going to be for some of these ladies, and I've got to be quite frank and quite honest, I am absolutely delighted with the start. From 95% of the field got through that absolutely fine.
Yeah, that's actually what I wanted to mention, because that's normally the tricky part when you see cars as we are right now with Celine, which are in that kind of mid-pack field, right? So if you have the problem starting from 9th till 20th that you normally crash, but this way we had only the pileup, and I think it was just one car where they just turned left. Now we have also a yellow face on the track, but at least the rest has pretty much a clean start, and they're all driving after each other, and we see Hedda Rangsada on the back right now and being pushed back to the 23rd place, but it also is stuck there in the bus stop chicane. There was also a car just watching towards us, so this is when it gets a bit of messy. But here, unfortunately, and also some had to go wide a bit, but yeah, luckily from the start there were not so many kind of incidences we had. But as we also have to mention, the track limits, especially at Eau Rouge, they will come as a headbanger later when we just see that many go wide here again, and this will give some penalties later in the race, hopefully not for everyone.
Ever the beacon of joy. Thank you very much for that, Laura Luft. But a brilliant point, though, because track limits, we've seen it time and time and time again, folk getting caught out by them, and that absolutely will cause a whole swathe of drive-through penalties. But I'll tell you, booked there around the outside, that was a move and a half there for GTWR R8G Female Racing in the 66 there, and yeah, that was absolutely cracking stuff there from Altea. Very, very confident as well. And Laura, again, it's one of the wonderful things about, you know, repeatedly commentating on this series is that you get to see the improvements, the constant improvements of these drivers. And Jenny Kamugli up the inside, that was never going to work. And their teammates, that is Celine Witcher that has been nuked from orbit, and that was so obvious. But I mean, Laura, their teammates, that is going to be a very, very awkward debrief after that.
So I guess that the team manager, they will have a hard work, because that's what you normally don't like to do. That's what I mentioned in the first place, right? Although you are actually teammates and rivalries in the whole team, you're still teammates. So that's interesting. But yeah, and also Jenny was not happy with her qualifying, but she luckily is now in the 9th place. But Celine just dropped then to 12th, and yeah, that's what normally you don't want to see as a team captain, to be honest. But let's see how this will be after the debrief, as you mentioned. Won't happen next time.
Oh my goodness me, Jenny, it's James. That's the radio message that's going to be coming across there very, very shortly. But yeah, I think as pointed out in chat there from 0501, I think Toto is going to be having a word after the race there, Laura.
Yep, I guess so too. But this is what happens normally. But I think this won't happen again, because they are not really like super rivalries, and we have other races doing that in the championship. But this will be a word, I think, also between them. Normally, as a driver, you just commentate if you're having a sleep over it, and then you just come back and say sorry, or that was not nice, and then you just be done with it for the next one. But yeah, let's see what we see on track here. And the lap we had seen quite quickly, where we jumped back to 10th place with Jessica Pelletier with the Rookie Monsters, also quite funny name. And as we also saw from the chat, that the great driving defending line is funny as well, to see that you just have to sneak in here down the Le Comp variant, and then you just go back to Pouhon. But yeah, Jessica Pelletier, she's just really defending her place, and in the back they have to really see, also with Denise Pope and Celine Witcher, where they just find a way through.
Oh my goodness me, that was absolutely amazing stuff. Jessica Pelletier, take a bow. That was one of the wildest moves that I've ever seen coming down into Bruel there. That was fantastic stuff. Up into 10th position. And I'm also going to throw one thing out there. I think without a shadow of a doubt, 5 minutes into this race, this is one of the best starts we've seen from any of the More Female Racers events on the SimGrid here. The level of pace, the level of attention to detail that these ladies are displaying out there tonight, absolutely fantastic stuff. We've got penalties coming in. It's a 5-second penalty for car 139 for unsportsmanlike conduct, and that is on the opening lap. that is going off track to complete an overtake, and that's Sarah Fair. That's not what I thought we would see, but I'm going to presume that may have been on Blanchimont or up through Eau Rouge. We'll get an idea on that, but that was with the number 14 car, and that was on Team Cake Runetta Racing's Maria Krichkova. So again, that's teammates that are involved in that. A 5-second penalty isn't the end of the world, but you really don't want to be having that at such an early stage of the race. And we've got yellow flags very briefly, but brought back in. But Laura, I mean, almost 10 minutes into this race, we see Denise Pope going side by side with Pelletier. My goodness me, that's done and dusted. Laura, this has just been frantic.
Yeah, but it's great because, and also Spa-Francorchamps is actually one of the tracks everybody has driven on, and as we see, Denise Pope is trying to defend her line on the Camel Straight and not catching this. Yeah, oh damn! Celine Witcher, she lost the car in Le Comp, and this is also where it is kind of tricky when you come up the hill and she has to let past everybody drive there. This is kind of really, really massive because everybody's still close together in that field, and she just pulls her back to the 21st place. What a ruined race for her already, what we can say, because this is what you can't actually just drive back through, because she came from 12th and now she's on the 21st place, and this is really, really sad in that sense. But Denise Pope is also chasing down Jenica Mukli, her teammate, in the other car, and this is what we definitely can say. And unexpected, as you mentioned, great to be in Spa-Francorchamps, but many drivers know the track because it's so obvious that you have many 24 hours races here or 12 hours races. Everybody knows actually where to go, and this is why they are really, really fast, and you see the pack is still close together on the track.
Yeah, it really, really is. It's a great spot there, Laura, and very interested to see a replay of that incident there, because I have the sneaking suspicion that there might have been the slightest of touches there. But have a look at Jessica Pelletier. This is a huge battle going on, contact on the back of Denise Pope, and this is starting to get out of hand here. Proper fisticuffs going on between Jenica Mugli, Denise Pope and Jessica Pelletier. I honestly, this is easily one of the best more female racers I have ever seen in this series. It's got everything you want: aggression, brilliant overtakes, and drama, all in abundance here. This is wild racing.
But actually, that has to be like that. This is really, really nice, because normally we tend to be like not too aggressive on the track, but this is what we definitely can say here. You have to defend your line and you have to stand your ground, right? If you're in front, you're in the front, and it doesn't matter who you are in the car, actually, and you have to really make sure that you stay there. Although maybe, for example, if you have a 24-hour race, you might just say, come on, if you're just a bit faster, I just pull back and be behind you. But here we have actually sprint races, because it's a 20-minute sprint, and you have to stop for the next driver, and it's again 20 minutes. So actually we just split this 60 minutes race up, and you have to make sure that you do the quali laps and don't be overtaken. And this is what Denise Pope is trying to do here again on the outside, where she has sliding situations, and I just didn't want to mention it actually. And this comes now back into this kind of crumble situation in the comp, because on the outside, if you oversteer on the curb, then you just hit your Jenica Mukli as well, and this is also taking many of places for Jenica Mukli. So we have to really say, turn one, what a problem now in this race for Jenica Mukli and also Celine Witcher. This is unfortunate, but I guess that they will have a word on that, and maybe also then we do see some penalties for this situation. But you have to try. That's what we always can say. You have to try, unless you just also be not aggressive enough, as we've been told. So it's kind of tricky to do everything right. But if you don't try, you never know. But it has to actually work out. And we are back with Yvonne on the 7th place right now, just chasing down Althea Book.
Oh my goodness me, right, let's check a replay and have a look at the start then. So again, from the most of it, for 95% of the field, it was a very, very good start. But for Sarah Fair, it's I mean, that is, you can't do that. 100% you can't do that. You're always going to get into trouble. Oh my goodness me, not content with diving past that at the start, hip checks another car into the barrier, causes all hell behind her, and And I've got to be honest, after that incident with Denise Pope, I swear I could hear from race control pens being broken and tables getting thrown across the room in absolute dismay at that one. That was a very silly incident that happened at the entry into Lecombe. Predictable, and it was just a case of Denise Pope trying to keep the foot in and not letting go of that place. It's a drive-through, though, to car number 7 for Lisa Louise-Keane for avoidable contact, and that's the hit with the 102 car. So that's turn 1's Hedda Rangsater that got the collision on that one. But Yvonne Hoofler in the 150 machine up into 7th place just now. But I mean, we're about 13 minutes into the first of 3 stints then for these drivers. Let's get a quick replay here. And this is the chaos and carnage kicking off behind here. And that is the number 7 of Lisa Louise-Keane here. And so this is still for lap 1 then. So it comes back on. And I'm wanting to see what on earth happens here, because this is not going to be good. Gets going away. Yeah, that's not the best, is it? Right. So that is exactly why it's a drive-through for car number 7. But, I mean, Laura, 13 minutes into the first stint of the race. Alou Gobi out by nearly 2 seconds, but still we're seeing just all this aggression. Where has all this come from?
Yeah, that's what I can potentially say, because if you are, as a female, always just being told you just be too soft and you have to be more aggressive and you have to stand your line, that what can happen. Yeah, it's just completely the opposite and being too harsh in some races and trying to defend. But yeah, you have to just really be still smart, because if that would happen in real racing, then it costs a lot of money, and still you want to have your second driver in line also driving a good race. And this is where we get another replay of the situation between the turn 1 ladies, which is Celine then again, where we just try to see what happened there. But definitely for Sarah Fair, the 5 second is clear. But here, that's the dive bomb. Yeah, there is no chance to... If you have maybe like a team chat, right? And you say, I'm on the inside, I'm faster, let me pass, fine. But not if you just actually don't anticipate or expect to be dive bombed in that corner, because there was actually no place. Unless you just go off the track, be on the curb, on the grass with 2 wheels, then yeah. But this is then also leaving the track and overtaking without being on the racetrack. So yeah, it can be sometimes a bit messy. We have seen that, but yeah. What can you do right? It's either you're too soft, either you're too hard. You have to find the perfect middle, and this takes time.
Yeah, you really, really do. And again, with Celine Witcher and Jenny Kamugli, I don't believe it's as clear cut as we originally saw. Obviously, with the fact they're teammates, that should never ever have happened. But I'm not sure, because it just felt like the car turned in. But we'll come back to that in a second. This is Denise Pope then, and that's the 101 on the inside of Celine Witcher. And yeah, that is that's not going to happen. In fact, that wasn't actually Denise Pope. So that was Eva, wasn't it? Eva De Andrade for me at Esports in the 29. That I've got to be honest, Laura, if you're turn 1 racing, I think you're quite tempted to just give up at this point, are you?
Yeah, actually, also what the chat mentioned, it's kind of jinxed, right? Because it's all turn 1 cars. But yeah, they're also quite really great drivers, but they have so many on the grid. That's what we also got in the discussion, yeah. But actually, yeah, you can normally think that you are only the ones who had a hit on the track, but sometimes you have to say it's unintentionally, and this is what we also can say, depending on how much your stress level is when you're a new joiner, when you have a new teammate, you want to actually show what you can do. Maybe you just don't check your mirrors regularly, and that can happen, misunderstanding. Sometimes it's a race incident where it was unintentionally, but if it just was a really, let's say, aggressive dive bomb, then it's clear that the race control is watching that. So sometimes it's just a bad luck as well, and you can't really point a finger to it. But yeah, I think that now we have seen a bit of movement in the first race, or first minutes of the race. Now we also see some driver swappings coming soon, but I guess that we are a bit more relaxed now.
Well, what I struggled to see was the fact that it is GTWR that were 1, 2 and 3 in silver class, and then obviously you had turn 1. They had a significant. I think they were actually running, 3 cars astern in silver class as well, and that has just completely destroyed their chances on that race here. This is Denise Pope. So this is where it was getting mixed up because it's on silver front and going along Kebble Straight here. Moves to the outside there, way too late on the brakes. So out brakes herself. The back end of the car sweeps out, tries to keep it in, and that is always going to be an accident there. So. Yeah, that is what I would say as well in hindsight, and the whole thing of everyone moving forward is that car didn't actually go off track. She was still there on the left hand side, so there needs to be much more awareness from the drivers. This is side by side though. This is 13th and 14th position there, and what a move on the Kemmel Straight here, trying to be late onto the brakes there, but the 14 of Maria Krichkova lets the position go, and Elisa Indriani moves up into P13. Meanwhile, behind Annalise Raya and Celine Witcher all fighting out here, and as much as I'm really enjoying this race, I'm actually starting to get a little bit intimidated by these ladies right now. From all the aggression that is going on, it's like, goodness me. Another penalty coming through for lap 1. Cars 28, that's Godspeed Angels of Vanni Jakob, and the 89, that is, let's have a look here, that's Team Racing Point Women, that's Roberta Leska. It's a drive-through for Vanni Jakob for avoidable contact, and we're still on lap 1 penalties, Laura, so this is going to be a long stint.
Yeah, and I can totally relate to the fact that you sometimes think they are completely out of their minds, but this is not the case. I can relate to that, but I can truly understand how much they are under pressure, right? You just put yourself out there, you have to perform, and no defense, but actually it can take place that you kind of be a bit overheated. So I guess I would say if you actually, and this is where I kind of can relate because I came from actual real racing, so I drive differently when I'm in the sim, but some started with sim racing, also what others have mentioned, you don't think about what it can cost. And I think if that is something you just have in your back of your mind when also racing in the sim, you won't do some maneuvers because you think it's not going to happen in real racing. Why should I do this in sim racing? So maybe that's the thing where it sometimes misses a bit because there it doesn't hurt, right? But you have to just sometimes also be patient, and I know that some ladies don't have that, including myself, so I always have to remind myself, be patient with that. But actually when you're out on the track, it's sometimes better to just lift off a bit and try it in the next corner, because then it's a clean race. That's what you want to see, and this is also where you can improve from the next one. And I guess that here, because everybody knows the track, they want to stand their ground. But that's for sure will result, and that's what I mentioned, right? I just didn't jinx it, but I said it will result in some of the penalties we see already right now. But yeah, hopefully we still have a fun race because still 40 minutes to go. And also when we have the driver swaps, there will be kind of a, let's say relaxed mid-situation where people have to sort themselves out discussing over the channels. But actually, if we would listen now to the Discord channels and talks and chats they have in the back, this will be hilarious.
Yeah, I would love to be a fly on the wall in some of these voice chat channels through the course of the evening, even after the race as they go into debriefs. But 40 minutes left to go in the race, and another penalty coming through instant on lap 2. So we finally got past lap 1 now. Lap 2 involving cars 104 and 101. That is turn 1 Biscuit and turn 1 Magnum. It's a 15-second penalty for the 104 car, turn 1 Biscuit of Jenny Kamugli for avoidable contact there. So Jenny Kamugli gets a 15-second time penalty for avoidable contact. That is, that predictable, I think is the word there, as we see pit stops coming in thick and fast, Laura.
Yeah, and that hurts because that takes a lot of time also when you have a drive-through. So that's pushing you back and your strategy is completely mixed up. But yeah, that's how you have to cope with it, and maybe just trying to do another strategy right now when they come into the pit lane. And we have Esmeralda Vandenalt. She's the first person on the grid right now with the car number 15. So nice to see her out with the GTWR RHG. This is a horrible name for me to pronounce. But yeah, they have a great team spirit, and also many team members out as well, as we saw from the livery. That's what I also have to mention, and this is what the chat also said. The great work they do with the livery is extraordinary, and this brings also a kind of spark into our race. And I especially mention the cupcake ones, right, for you, David. But yeah, definitely we see everybody, besides now the first one who have already done the swap, in the pit lane.
Yeah, that's right. 38 minutes left to go, and Esmeralda van der Nald in the lead of the race provisionally, of course, out sequence with the pit stops there, and Giorgio Simonini here down in 17th place, taking over that car, the 150 from Yvonne Hoefler. So keep an eye on that one. Expect that to rocket straight back up to the top 10 very, very shortly. Sebastian Handler in the Mosaic Racing Team number 29 MIA Esports, taking over the car from Eva de Andrade in that machine, just now currently down in 19th position. And again, obviously the positions are going to swap about quite quickly as the pit stops take place here, but we have to say, I mean, I've got to give huge credit to Sarah Dove there for holding on essentially to Alu Gulbi. Kept Alu honest. That gap was about 2.38 when they came into the pit stops here. But a new purple lap then for the 150 machine, and that is a very, very fast lap actually from Giorgio Simonini. So climbing back up through the ranks, and this is where you're going to see, I think, a lot of sparks start to fly here, Laura.
Yeah, definitely, and also the discussions which came out of these situations where you have also your male racer with you on the team, and this is actually Yvonne and Giorgio together. So they are pretty fast, and they are pretty concentrated and focused on the race. So a good pairing as well. That's what you definitely need here, to have a good teammate to just calm you down or push you when it's needed. So that's what we can say. The consistency throughout the race and also the season is key. Denise Pope again out on the 9th place, and it's pretty nice, and hopefully she hasn't really have to do it really on her own. That's also what we have seen in the last ones. If you can't find anybody, you definitely have to do this yourself. And definitely Sarah, she was driving the W Series in America, so that's why Denise has to do this on her own, and this is great to see that she can do it, right? So you have the spirit to actually race through it. Sometimes it's even because 1 hour can be just quite short, and if you're having fun and you know what you do, you just be concentrated on actually the action on track. And we also see Tom Shipson now on the car.
I'm just having a look there. I've just noticed there, Laura, that Esmeralda van der Nalde has got a drive-through penalty. So the provisional leader has got a drive-through penalty, and I'm going to presume, since I've not seen a penalty here, that is for track limits. And you said about that right at the back, so it could be that, or it could actually be, just pointed out from our production team, stint timer. So the stint timer's expired, that automatically hands a drive-through penalty, and if they're racing by themselves, then you would have thought that they would have had that better. But again, what's been pointed out in our ears is that was just 3 seconds over the stint timer, and that's what's cost them the drive-through penalty. So really fine margins here.
Yeah, and very unfortunate, because that's what you sometimes don't calculate, right? You think everything is good, and then this comes into play, which actually is out of nowhere. But you have so many things on your plate you have to actually take care of. But that's very unfortunate. Where we see Elwell Renway again in the car, hot and spicy, seen also last time with quite good racing action, and being pushed by the car behind, which is Tom Shipson. So really nice to see them out on the track in a 3 lineup right now, pushing each other, also with Rudy Lloyd Davis in the 139, close together, which is silver and M. And also we have to say that really the 139 in the M class is quite up high in the rank, on the 13th place, and great to see that also we have so many driving the same exact lap times, which is pretty nice.
I've just noticed something that we both completely missed, Laura. And that is that the 177 GTWR R8G female racing team have done the jump. they've gotten the jump over the number 12 of Alou Gobi in the pit lane. So Andrea Capoccia comes out and is now your new race leader with Harry Phillips in second place. That is huge. Another penalty there between the 101 and the 29. The 101 is turn 1 Magnum, and the 29 is Mia Esports Ava de Andrade. It's a 15-second time penalty for Ava de Andrade. So Andrea Capoccia, that is huge news, Laura, and potentially could completely change the race.
Yeah, that's good to see that also they have maybe discussions in the back, because they're more all together in the front rows, but also nice to see that they have different strategies when they come in and undercut and overcut each other. But this is really, really good that we see also other races in the front. But let's see how that they keep it through the race, because we still have one driver change then to do, and also number 15 has now a drive through it, so it's coming more and more drive throughs which we see, and also the penalties coming in, so that could still be the game changer even in the last stint, because you never know what happens if you already then have maybe also the track limit situation, and hopefully no other eyes from the race control with some incidents you might have maybe missed, and also no technical issues. So let's see how this goes. We still have a short yellow flag, but all good. The 66 car is driving again, and as you see the track map, everybody is so spread out on track. When you come into the pit lane now for the last stint, this will be a bit messy when you have to find a free and clear spot to come out of the track again.
Yeah, absolutely, and it makes it so important. Another that's the confirmation of the drive-through for the number 15 that Esmeralda van der Nald picked up for that stint timer, handing things over to teammate there of Stéphane Graffet there. But 32 minutes left to go. Joshua Boucard here for Team Riot in the 187. We're watching, making way down to La Source then for the 11th time of asking there, and obviously teammates with Annalise Riot in Team Riot Spice Cake. And the cake teams I really do have a soft spot for, mostly because I'm a quite a greedy person in real life, and I do enjoy my food. So the idea of a team being named after cakes automatically gets a big green tick in my box. But realistically, you know, the likes of Sarah Fair, Rudian Lloyd Davis, Annalise Riot, Joshua Boucard, they are incredibly friendly people. Maria Krichkova and Tom Shipston as well. It seems to be the ethos that a lot of these teams, they really do look after their drivers.
Yes, and that's what you definitely actually want, that you have everybody included. An inclusive racing series is what we actually have, to be honest. And also all the people being together, helping each other. This is what we aim for, because we have so many difficulties in other aspects of life, so we don't have to make our lives even worse when we go to sim racing, right? So we just try to be together and have a fun time. That's also what it is about, and support is key. And what we can definitely see, that support is also fun on the racetrack when you give each other slipstream. So Mark Lewis is just trying to actually find a place to chase down Denise Pope, and she has really good defending line here down Blanchimont, and also then way to the bus stop chicane. She's trying to cover up. But it's on the inside for the 66 car, a little bit better, but you have to just go drag racing down alongside that way, and Denise is still fighting, so that's really, really great to see that she is trying to recover maybe on the first corner here, which is actually La Source, and then maybe she can make a better outcome for, and leading still for her position number 8, actually down to Le Rouge, and also then maybe we see the overtaking situation in the Camel Straight. But this is great coverage here from Denise Pope, and it's just not giving up her place. That's good.
Yeah, fantastic defensive driving there from Denise Pope there. Mark Lewis all over the rear end right now for GTWR R8G Female Racing, but you're going to have to watch out, because the number 18 of Tony McAughivin is still a threat just now. He's dropped back, and look at that, round the outside then goes Mark Lewis. Is going to be late onto the brakes for Denise Pope, going to try and take it. Great attacking move there, and from Denise as well, didn't miss the breaking point, and it is going to be an 8th position then for Mark Lewis there, and now throws Denise Pope basically into the clutches of Tony McCofferin for that Rookie Monsters machine there, down in 10th position. So as it stands, then your leader at the moment with half an hour left to go, Andrea Capoccia for the 177 GTWR RAG female racing number 1 team, Harry Phillips in second place, and then in third place is Yves Field in that number 3 Intruder Racing team outfit. The 77 of Muirhead in fourth place just now, Matt Muirhead for GTWR RAG female racing number 2, and then it is the 150 RAG Esports of Giorgio Simonini in fifth position, and then in sixth position is the number 15 of Stéphane Griffet in sixth, as we said, about 10 seconds behind Simonini in that sixth position. Then it's the 103 turn 1 Grazie Kimi of Kirkheath down in 7th position. We just saw Mark Lewis taking 8th position in that 66, the third of the GTWR RAG female racing teams, and then in 9th position Denise Pope for Wild Things Racing's Epics.gg, as we see Tony McCofferin on the back here. I was just away to mention him, almost going side by side, gets forced out to the outside there at the chicane, the final chicane, then turns through that left hander. Going to have to think better of it as the 18 tries to keep in the toe. Tony McCofferin for Rookie Monsters rounding out the top 10 there and on the back of Denise Pope. But halfway through the race, Laura, and this really has been something special.
It is, and also what we saw that some of the midfield pack racing situations got a bit under control, although we still have 0.9 or 0.2 seconds or 4 even behind everybody, or behind each other, and you still see that Denise has no chance to recover because there is another one actually fighting for the position, which would put her into 10th if she would can't actually cope for that, but she has to drive on her own, she has to make it ready, and she has to see the finish line. So right now she's fighting against Tony, and this is really nice to see that she is making it smart, right? You just try to recover in some corners. Here she goes on the inside line and tries to defend that there is no space for actually Tony to go and dive in there. So she's also trying to look into the back mirrors to make sure that there is enough space for both of us, which is really nice to see. And this is the closest fight we have so far on the track.
Yeah, very, very tight stuff between Tony McCofferin for Rookie Monsters and Denise Pope there in the 26 for Wild Things Racing Epics.gg, so we'll keep an eye on this one. And Denise doing a cracking job, basically putting, Laura, the car exactly where it needs to be, making that Ferrari as wide as it possibly can be. Meanwhile, Tony McCofferin having to work the tyres a little bit more, having to get that car a little bit unsettled, basically, to just keep up and keep pace with Denise right now.
Yeah, that's definitely what happens on the track, that you have to position your car quite nicely, and this is still happening. So we have not seen any kind of situations in that lap, and still it is also for Tony interesting to see where maybe Denise makes some mistakes or not, but she is definitely also good covering herself towards Blanchimont, now in the bus stop chicane as well. And this is what makes it fun, right? Normally, I'm not sure if Denise wants to be in the place defending, or if she actually wants to be in a hunting position, but she definitely makes her mark and makes a good statement out on track. Fun to see that. And also Wild Things Racing, they have a good team strategy, and also, like with the other teams, of course, having great training sessions and trying to make sure that everybody feel comfortable. And you need to be actually confident with the track and with the car, and that seems to be happening with Denise, where we see now Wojciech Pawlicek in the bus stop chicane, also going a bit wide, but nevertheless it makes no sense to just be angry about it, because actually on the 15th space that's quite a good starting point for the black Pro-Am category, which we see here on track, being in the first place for Pro-Am, the 205 car.
Yeah, it makes sense, like you said, Laura, just to think with your head, and if you're obviously getting caught hand over fist from a car behind you, then it makes sense just to kind of let that car go. Just noticing as well, Matt Muirhead and Giorgio Simonini are duking it out right now. Giorgio Simonini looking to try and get past the number 77 car to take 4th place just now. And here we go, cut to it at the best possible time, gets the position, and Giorgio Simonini takes 4th position from Matt Muirhead. That's a great move on the couple of corners before Blanchimont runs wide. This is going to be into the final chicane, but it looks to be done and dusted, and Giorgio Simonini will be delighted with that one. The recovery drive there for R8G Esports up into 4th position. And next on the list is basically going to be Yves Field, but again with 8.5 seconds left to go in this final 5-10 minutes of this stint, we're going to be swapping back to our leading ladies in just a couple of minutes time now. And I've got to be honest, I really like the gap that Andrea Capoccia has opened up over second place of Harry Phillips now, over 4 seconds. That hands that 177 car of Andrea back to Sarah Dove in a very good position, but obviously the number 12 of Alou Gobi and Harry Phillips, Grip Hacks Engineering, they're going to hope they can reverse the fortune and pull the undercut in pit lane as well. So we see Stéphane Griffet on the back of the 104 right now. That is Declan Bowler in that one, Turn 1 Biscuit Racing, taking over that car from Jenny Camugli. This is the run down into the final chicane here. Griffet trying to basically make any move he can stick right now, but he's going to have to think better of it as they go through the final chicane and then on the run down to La Source to start another lap here. We're on lap number 15 right now, and Laura, this has just had everything we could possibly want in a race.
Yeah, and it's really nice to see that they have, and where we have the replay from Denise, where she then had to give up her 9th place to the 10th one, and this is down. Yeah, you try to recover, and this is the contact we have here between them in Le Comp. And also there is no tiny space, and you just, have to give up the space. Also a situation where you can say it's a race incident, but as we have heard today, there is kind of a tension when it comes to this specific corner, when you try to find a racing line which is actually might not be there. Unfortunate on that place for Denise, but yeah, let's see what is, if there is still a discussion going on in race control, what we haven't put on our plate yet, and also we can definitely follow along. Tom Shipson right now in his also a bit of damaged Ferrari in the front, but nevertheless that doesn't have any problems with the downforce and also with the aerodynamics on the car. Really good here, waving through the traffic, as we can say. But the mid-turn normally tends to be a bit less hectic, but yeah, still we have position fights all over the track, and still also important because when the ladies come back into the car in some female races pushing hard, it's good to have a bit of a gap.
No, that was very, very deep into the corner from Sebastian Handler. So Denise Pope decides to, I think, better of it, cuts into pit lane. Very lucky not to get taken out there by Sebastian Handler. And that was a very, very interesting manoeuvre into that final chicane. Just had an interesting point there, Laura, from our production team. If Matt Muirhead stays in this position for the 77 and hands that car back to Sophia Ronman in a GTWR R8G Female Racing, stays that way, that is going to complete the bill, because as it stands, every single lead car is the lead car that we had at Monza. So really getting this championship off to a cracking start for all of these drivers.
Let's see if that turns out to be the place or the case in Spa, because that can always happen. So many things out there, but could be a good one. And we still see another drive-through coming in for the incident involving cars 26 and 18. Again, 26 involved, but the car number 18 gets the drive-through for avoidable contact, and that is no other than rookie monsters, the new joiners on track with Jessica Pelletier and Tony McGoffrin, which is really unfortunate, but that was actually the case we just talked about when they tried to push Denise Pope out of the track, and that's what race control has done, so I can relate to that.
Yep, Stéphane Griffet trying to manhandle, I think is the polite way of putting it, Declan Bowler out of Lecombe there. That's not going to happen. I'm afraid these Ferraris don't just disappear, and that has now basically hamstrung Stéphane Griffet, brought the number 2 back into the mix, which is of course Cosmo Marsh, who is another driver doing the entire stint by themselves just now. And you can see there Altea Book out of the car just now, handed over the wheels to that machine just now, and getting ready to go back in. And Laura, from your experience and from what you can understand of this, what must be going through the lady's mind right now, getting ready to jump back in the car for the final 18 minutes of this race?
Funny thing is, if you just had not been ready out on track, then it's less hectic and you're less nervous. That's what I can definitely say, because then you had your mood and your spirit out on track. You have seen how you can perform with the others racing together, and you have actually a good track position. But still, you have to... Yeah, you sometimes are under pressure, right? Because you actually have to make some points. We still have some races to go. It would be even harder in the last race, definitely, when you're fighting for the championship. But Sebastian Handler is coming in as well. Or he's driving out, as it seems. No, he's just doing the long pit entry, which is taking ages. But yeah, he's finished with his stint and hands over the car back to the... I'm messing up with my order. But to the teammate, and I actually want to finish my sentence, that's what I want to do. You can actually be sometimes a bit nervous in that sense. We see the worried face from Altea Book, but she actually has not to be worried. I know she can be under pressure driving. So I'm curious to see that the others are actually excited to be back on track and not too nervous, because you have to keep your just laps clean, don't make any mistakes, and then it's actually a good end of this race.
Here's an interesting thought for you. The number 12 of Harry Phillips. Now, what I'm wondering is if they have a slow pit stop, as Andrea Capoccia into the pits as well. If Harry Phillips has a slow stop like last time, and we'll find out in a second, could come under pressure and could lose another position to the number 3 Intruder Racing Team of Yves Field. So that's 1, 2 and 3 into the pits right now, and we will keep our eye on that to see how that one develops. But that could be a huge turn up for the final 16 minutes of this race, and this is boiling over very, very nicely as we see Daniel Austins in the Andy Lab machine for the 316 outfit, just making his way around the track just now. Strix Racing, and on the back of the number 11 of Yannick Kalka, who is teammates with Charlotte Robertson around the outside. Oh my goodness me, that is so close, but Yannick Kalka just holds on there, and there is so close to having contact here. This is the run down through the complex, right left there, and Daniel Austins, that is probably one of the moves of the night there, to go round the outside, and that is into Lefania. Yeah, that is a move and a half from Daniel Austins, and for 16th position, I'd be very happy with that one, Laura.
Definitely, and also they are second now in their class, and really nice move here. And also the flashlights, as we've seen, are the best option to choose from to put some pressure on your teammates in front of you, or your actually rivalries on the track. Now we have another chasing situation again with Tony involved in that, chasing down Yvonne, which already had done their job, but he's now actually swapping back. That's the number 18 car, just taking back for the rookie monsters, and Jessica Pelletier coming back into her sim. So that's actually where we see many cars, of course, stopping right now, giving them 15 minutes, or let's say 14 minutes back into the race, and also Andy the Lap in the pit lane And we look at the number 997, which is Errol Rere actually in the front, but have to still stop. And we then see the 177, which is Saradov and Alan Gobi, then in the first two places in front of the number 3 car, because Jeffrey also has to stop still. That's what you can see on the left-hand side. And interesting, and also still the good kind of options to choose and stop earlier than expected. That mixed it up a bit, and also where people had a chance to have maybe some clean laps on the track without being in the mid-pack field.
14 and a half minutes left to go in the second round then of More Female Racers Season 4, and it's back into the lead then for Sarah Dove once Errol Fairway jumps into the pits ahead of Alou Gobi, gets a better jump on the pits again, takes a 1.8 seconds ahead of Alou Gobi, and then Mia Svensson will be third place once all the pit stops have come through, but Sarah Dove now has a handy lead over Alou Gobi. Now Alou was much faster in the first stint, and in fact has taken 1.3 seconds out of that stint there, so that is a huge lap there from Alou Gobi. That is a brilliant start to the stint here. We are going to have one heck of a final lap here if that pace continues. So Sarah Dove under real pressure right now. Mia Svensson in third place did have a chance to catch up to Alou Gobi, but again a slow stop pushes them further back. It's then Sophia Ronwin in fourth position. Yvonne Hoeflaar is going to have fifth position once the pit stops are done and dusted, so that is a cracking result. But Yvonne not happy with that, all over the back end of Sophia Ronwin right now. 30 minutes left to go, Laura, and I get the feeling we are not going to have voices left at the end of tonight.
Exactly, and also what we can see, the SG30, it has been pulled out for the number 11 car, which is actually in the Pro-Am category, which is Hitchcock Racing, with Charlotte and Robertson and Yannick Kalka, which is then the pit lane speeding. This is the first one which we have seen here on that grid, but this will pull them back as well in their Pro-Am category. But yeah, let's look at Yvonne. She is flying high as well. Really had a good stop there, and will be now in the fourth place if they just swap or do the driver stops. And there she is, jumping now in our tower as well at 6.273 seconds behind, where we also see the others in the pit lane. And let's check out what turn 1 is doing, which Troll Solbeck, which is the 102 on the 16th place, which is second in the Pro-Am category.
Yeah, still to come into pit lane there, and that was Alita Adriani just in front, so that'll hand back the car there to Hedda Harangsater in the machine there. But just looking at that lead battle right now, to give you some context, we've got 12 minutes left to go in this race. That means we've roughly got, I would say, about maybe 5 laps, maybe 6 laps left to go in this race. That gap has come down by about half a second a lap, and by my reckoning that's not going to be enough. But if Alou Gobi can get to within 2 seconds, then yeah, that is going to be one heck of a battle going on there. Marie Krichkova and the number 14 Runeta Racing Machine trying to hunt down Eva De Andrade in the 29 in front, but 1.7 seconds. And again, we're seeing all these different gaps just closing down very quickly indeed. And in fact, Sophia Ronwin loses out that position then, as we saw last lap round 2, Yvonne Hoeflaar. And Yvonne is absolutely on a charge, already got a gap of about a second over Sophie in that fifth position there, and 10 minutes left to go. Yeah, I'm starting to get a little bit excited here.
Yeah, the gap is closing a bit, but still we have enough time, and probably then Saradov has the chance to secure that place. But as we all know, everybody is pushing. Also, then Sophie Ehrman is really on the edge with 1.4 chasing down. But she is actually then, and we still have the pro category right now with only 4 people driving there, and the rest is the silver one chasing everyone. But great to see that we have so many close fights right now on track, which is fight for position number 5 or 4, let's say. Also then 11 and 10, and we are back with Denise Pope. She's 1.5 second behind then Bochenska, so that's actually pretty nice to see. We still have 9 minutes. Let's see if there are still chances for some overtaking situations in the mid-pack field.
Laura, shall we add a little bit of spicy seasoning to this final 10 minutes of the race? Sarah Dove, last lap round, 2:18.8. Alou Gobi, last lap round, 2:17.8. Alou Gobi was an entire second faster than Sarah Dove. We've got 9.5 minutes left to go. I think we've got a race on our hands. I think we are going to have one heck of a fight for the leads towards the end of this race. The gap now down under 4 seconds. Alou Gobi is on the charge. You better believe when she sees the tail end of that Ferrari of the 177, that is going to give your car a magical extra 5 to 10 brake horsepower just from the adrenaline rush alone. But this is on the board, on the cockpit then of Griphack's Engineering's Alou Gobi, and this is starting to get a little bit nervous time for Sarah Dove right now. Out of the final corner, comes across lap. What's the gap this time round? And it is 3.6 seconds, so that was another 7/10 of a second. 2:18.2 for Sarah Dove, 2:17.5 for Alou Gobi. That was a personal best that time round, and yeah, this is starting to get very, very interesting indeed.
Yeah, definitely. When you see your opponent in the front, and you normally try to push as well, and yeah, it has a bit of a good save here, coming out of Rouge, a bit of a heck of a drive, but yeah, you just try to close the gap, but still there's a long way to go. Otherwise, you also have the defending situation, which we see here is like trying to pass Bochenska. Denise Pope is actually on the run and defending herself back and forth, and also the other cars in the back is Pelletier and Annie Delap in the back are just close together, and this is the battle here with Denise Pope. She's really just going on the inside in La Source. This is really in the bus stop chicane. She's really a smart move here. Perfectly drive, and also then she has now over 50 minutes on her clock. Pretty nice. A drop from Denise Pope. Definitely, it's close to the podium. She's racing on the 4th place now in her silver class. Good job.
Yeah, cracking stuff, and that was a great move from Denise Pope. Unfortunately, I think she's about, she's about 20 seconds behind Altea Book in that position. As you see, Beta Bochenska going very, very wide, using one of her 9 lives for track limits there on the back end of Denise Pope on the Kemmel Straight here. Is this going to be a move into Lecum here for Beta Bochenska? Things better of it, and decides not going to happen. And to be honest, I think that means that Denise Pope is going to stretch the legs, pull away in that Ferrari. Meanwhile, 6.5 minutes left to go. Second place, the gap is now, I believe, 2.9 seconds. So this is a huge battle going on. This is Celine Witcher in turn 1 Magnum on the back of Alezza Indriani for the 205 machine, and the 205 of Luna Nira just now. Celine massively out of position, you've got to say, in that 101 after that earlier incident with Jenny Mugli. And again, not to keep on going on about it, Laura, but those sorts of incidents just shouldn't be happening with teammates, should they?
Yeah, that's definitely, and also we have still a crash here on the 316 car in that's not a nice spot. Luckily turning around, this is Andy the Lab, our Labrador as it has been called, and unfortunate on that way. Then it's now dropping back to the 20th place. Yeah, the car looks quite stable still, but it's not performing, I guess, because she just hit back and forth. But let's see if this can be actually made into the final 5 minutes of this race and crossing the white line, where we're just jumping back to Celine. And then loses it again in Le Comp. So I guess that car is done, but this is unfortunate on that place. But Sophia Unrun now in the 77 car, which is 0.5 seconds behind Yvonne, and now, I mean, they don't fight for the same class, but still great to see that they are down here towards Pujon and racing each other, which is really nice. And also in the front, we see Alugobi is down to 2.379 seconds. But still, you have to just close the gap, but then you have to still try to find a way to overtake.
Yeah, it's one of the famous things that we hear all the time. It's one thing to catch up is quite another to get past, but we'll certainly see, because that gap is coming down. We've got another yellow flag. No surprises, it's the 316 again. And we were jokingly saying, is it the lab that's behind the wheel? And if that's the case, I take it somebody has shouted walkies, because that car is really not having a good time right now. Some severe mechanical issues with that, or potentially a hardware issue on that car just now, but really not nice to see from the 316. However, I believe that car is still, in fact, no, it's going to drop off the podium for that class, actually, because Hedda Rangsether has taken the position for the number 102 machine just now. So Alugobi then with 3 minutes and 45 seconds to go. The gap now not closing as much as they'd like. Took about 0.8 of a second that last lap there at 2.1 seconds, but just up the road is Sarah Dove. Can Sarah Dove hang on for dear life to that lead? That is what we need to keep an eye on just now. And I've got to be honest, that Yvonne Hoefler and Sophie Aronwin fight, I did not expect that. I saw Yvonne getting past and I expected her just to jet off into the distance, but Sophie Aronwin thinks otherwise, is not having any of it and keeping Yvonne very honest right now. Just now, 3 minutes left to go, Laura. Where do we see this one going? Do we think Sarah Dove is going to hold on to this?
Yeah, I would keep my fingers crossed, and now we still have the 316 again spinning in the back, but it doesn't matter because still the gap is 1.9, so it is enough space actually for Sarah Dove, and I keep my fingers crossed that her tires are still up and running so that she can defend as well if then the gap is closing to Alugobi, because it would be nice to actually see those two fighting. And Sarah Dove actually, yeah, she won the last one. Why is she not doing this now? I think she likes the traditional tracks. So we had Monza, then now we have Spa. Let's see how that goes on with the next one, which is Imola and Silverstone. So we have more of the classy tracks coming. So maybe let's see. But yeah, it's great to see that we have this kind of really great great racing between those, and I think it's actually looking not too bad for Sarah.
Yeah, in the pound seats right now, I think we're going to get basically one more lap then, because the leader's just coming around the final corner for just now, and then going to come across the line to get that last lap started, the 177 of Sarah Dove. Meanwhile, this is Cosmo Marsh for Relish Racing in the number 2 just now, just catching on to the back of Jessica Pelletier, but confirmation we are on white flag duties. The last lap is here, and it does look like Sarah Dove has just done enough with those amazing pit stops. Alugobi now 1.7 seconds behind. Surely that is too much of an ask for Alugobi in the number 12 to do anything about in that Grip Hacks engineering machine. Up through Eau Rouge, up through Radion for the final time, along the Kemmel Straight, down in towards Lecombe for the final time of asking. But look at Alugobi getting closer and closer still, but not enough. That gap is still just 1.7 seconds, and as happy as Alugobi will be with second place, I think they're going to be devastated. And there's contact at the top of Radion, and that is Sophia Ronwin, and that is going to be contact with Yvonne Hoefler. That is absolute drama and chaos. Now, I'm saying there was contact there. I don't actually know if there was. I'm just presuming that because she up there with Yvonne Hoefler. So Sophie Aronwin loses it. We'll get a replay of that very shortly, but that is absolute heartbreak on the final lap of the race. But it's all about Sarah Dove through the final half of the circuit just now, and Alugobi surely has nothing in the tank to answer to Sarah Dove. So we are coming then down, ladies and gentlemen, for round 2 of More Female Racers Season 4 into Stavolo for the final time. Laura Luft, over to you.
yeah, you just had like a heart attack already. And I can definitely relate, because the last 6 seconds we actually didn't want to have the kind of situation with the 7-7 with Sophia Unwin. But great to see that we are with Sarah Doff, and I'm happy that my hint was going to take place, because there is no problem for Sarah Doff to take that home, because the gap is still really, really big in front of Alu Gobi, and what a race actually it has been. And congrats to our race winners, which is the 177, which is Sarah Doff. Perfectly drive with Andrea Cappuccini. Capoccia, this is what I wanted to say. So brilliant drive from this team in front of then Alu Gobi. And also we have the replay now, which was then with Sophia Unwin. Let's see what had happened. Lost it on there. She lost it herself. What a pity. But this is how, bad Eau Rouge can be at some point. And Alu Gobi had also a brilliant drive. And actually funny, we just have to see if there are any more penalties. That's what we heard from the back. So we do have 1 5-second penalty for the car number 101, with is then Celine Witcher again. But let's look at what we have in the front. Mia Svensson comes in third place, and then Yvonne Hufelaar in fourth, because that was the incident with Sophia Unwin, which is coming back in fifth place, but actually wins still the silver class. Then in second for the silver class is Natalie Lee, coming now onto the main straight, and we just jump back to Laura Vlajenska. And still Altia Book, we have to mention, also third place in the silver class, and also my name companion Raula Lenska is actually also finishing her race. Annalisa Riot also now in the third place, and we just don't want to mention that she is the M class winner. Actually pretty amazing, with the 187 car Team Riot finishing now closely then on the main straight. Abadi Andrade has finished it, and now she can be in the M class, the winning team for now. We just see what the Pro M is, 205. Contact here on the last corner. It can't be actually in the bus stop chicane, but still hopefully just making her way through the 205. This what the hell? But great that she just actually managed to, Elisa Andriani managed to win her Pro-Am category in front of the other teammates. Brilliant and great drive, which we had seen. It was a kind of a bit of a hectic, what we actually thought of, David, I imagine that. But actually, what is normally in Spa, with every race, it doesn't matter if female or male, we always have funny incident stories out on track, great overtaking situations, and great action. Actually, that's what we definitely can say. I was pumped.
Wow. What on earth just happened there tonight? Let's take you through your winners in the classes then. Sarah Dove in the 177, along with Andrea Capoccia for GTWR R8G Female Racing number 1. Take the race win and take the win in the Pro Class. Second in Pro Class is Alu Gobi and Harry Phillips in the Grip Hacks Engineering. Mia Svensson and the teammate of Ivesfield for Intruder Racing Team, third place in the Pro Class. Silver Class then taken by Sophie Ronwin in the 77 GTWR R8G Female Racing number 2, along with Matt Muirhead takes the win on that. Natalie Lee in the 103, well done to turn 1. Grazie Kimi teams up with Kirk Heath to take second place, and then Altea Book in third place for silver class there in the 66, along with Mark Lewis. So it's 1 and 3 for GTWR Racing Team. Then in the Pro-Ams is going to be Elita Indriani for the 205 of Luna Nera with Wojciech Pavlik and the 205 machine. And then in second place in Pro-Am is turn 1 Hedda Rangseter and Truls Solberg in the 102. And then third place in Pro-Am is the number 89 Wild Things Racing, Sabine of Melissa Taplin and Aurelian Kroos in that one. And then in the AMS, it is going to be the 187. Cracking finish for Annalise Riot. Absolutely brilliant finish there in 13th position. Teamed up in the 187 with Joshua Bouchard. In second place in AM is the number 2 outfit, Realist Racing of Cosmo March. And then at the back, in 23rd position, is the 139 Team Cake Angel Cake of Sarah Fair. Ruthie and Lloyd Davis taking third in the AM class. Right, let us go and have a chat then. We will go and have a chat with, we've got Cosmo March is in here for the AM team, taking second place in that one. And let's have a little chat then. Cosmo, a very, very good evening. Brilliant second place in the AM class, and a pretty hectic race tonight.
I tell you what, if you told me when I woke up this morning you'll get second place in AM, I wasn't expecting that. I certainly wasn't expecting to beat some of the pro teams. I mean, and the pro-ams, well, not the pro teams, the pro-ams is what I was after. But yeah, I was surprised that I was ahead of some of them, and you know, I was really going into this thinking, well, if I stay out of trouble, you know, I might get a decent place. I'll probably finish behind the 187 and the 139. I don't know what happened to the 139 at the end, but you know, I'll take second place. I was dialed in nicely, you know. I just got the car at the end. It didn't really do anything I didn't want it to, and overall that was a really enjoyable race.
And obviously when you can beat some of the silver teams in the Pro-Am teams as well, that makes it a little bit better of a night, doesn't it?
Oh, it does. I mean, I was only myself in the car today. I don't have a teammate at the moment, so I just thought, right, well, they've got fast drivers that can go in for the second sit and try and get them up the order a bit. So I was very surprised I beat the 102, especially. I know Hedda is a very, very good driver. I've raced against her several times. I know she's really good. And, you know, Charlotte Robertson as well in the number 11, I was quite happy to beat her as well because I've raced against Charlotte a lot. So, you know, there's a lot of cars up there I was surprised that I did beat. If I'd found my pace a bit sooner, I think I could have beaten a few more. But, you know, there's still 4 races left to go in the season. Really, I'm just happy to be included.
Yeah, awesome stuff to have you included with it, Cosmo. Looking forward to having a chat with you later on in the season. Best luck for the remaining rounds.
Yeah, thank you very much, and great job on the broadcast today as well, as usual.
Thank you very much. There you go, Cosmo Marsh second in place. And Laura, I think we're going to have to leave the cherry on the cake for you, because we've got Andrea Capoccia and Sarah Dove from GTWR R8G Female Racing. So I think we're going to hand the reins over to you.
Yeah, amazing that we just can pull them together, which is Sarah Dove. Congrats to winning the race, and Andrea Capoccia. What a race! I mean, this is insane. And yeah, it was a start-finish race, quite not, but you had the last time also the win in Monza. I think you quite like the traditional ways and traditional racetracks. How was it?
Oh, it was. It was a really, really good race. I did a good start, good first, and you know, I kept it clean and was keeping up with Ali. And I think that's what clinched it really, because then we did a really great pit stop and we came out in front. So after that we were like, wait, hang on, so that's happening again, kind of thing.
And it was brilliant.
And so we just kept it clean. Didn't want to crash or anything, and then I got back in and I was looking at the relative and I was getting a bit scared because Ali was putting in some insane lap. It was crazy how fast she was going.
Speechless still, but we saw that and we were just like, yeah, you can manage, and this is what we had the discussion with David and I was going on, is she going to manage? And I said, yeah, she will, and this is what you mentioned. Now you just got scary. But Andrea also quite a solid stint in the second situation as well, and you are a good team couple, that's what we can definitely say, because you have consistent driving and you keep your heads clean. That's most important, especially in Spa, right?
Absolutely. That actually, I think that's what put us to win the race, because we knew that we were a little bit slower, like overall. You know, I could have been faster than Cosmo, but I didn't know it. I wasn't sure because I never saw him driving. But Sarah told me that Ali was a little bit faster than him. Obviously, we could have never thought that she was that fast. Yeah, I mean, we did a very good first stint. Sarah was very close to Ali, even if she was losing a little bit. She kept her clean as she kept it like in the 2 seconds window, you know. So when we did the pit stop, we did a perfect pit stop and we overtook them. And then I didn't want to push too much, obviously, because I wanted to give back to Sarah with 0 warnings, so she could push in the last stint. So I just did a very quick stint, 20 minutes. We pulled a little bit more gap, so when I gave back the car to Sarah, we had a 6-second advantage on car number 12. And so then Sarah, the last stint was very good because Sarah kept she kept herself very focused and didn't lose it. You know, it's very hard when you see someone that's driving 6, 7, 8 tenths faster per lap than you, who's coming up. It's it's possible that they will catch you. But you know, we knew that it was only 8 laps until the end, and she just pushed at the right time. I mean, Sarah pushed at the right time, and at the end of the day, we kept that 1 second gap for the last lap, and she won the race. So it's a very good race and very good racing, and it's all thanks to Sarah again. She did all the work, and it's all thanks to her.
Great to see you two as a great spirit in the team as well. That's what we also mentioned. You have to really discuss what you do in the race. And Sarah, when we look out to home turf, where Andrea is then racing in Imola as well, so this is another track where you potentially can show what you can do. And what is your lookout for Imola then, actually, in terms of training? You do again the magic?
Hopefully. I'll just with Imola. I've not always had great races, so I'm just going to take whatever I can get. Because the last time we went to Imola in MFR, it was raining and I was in the Lamborghini and I spun 5 times or something. So hopefully that doesn't happen.
We keep our fingers crossed for good weather, and thanks so much for you two to bring the spirit and also the good mood behind a team to us in the broadcast. Thanks so much for Sarah Doff and Andrea Capoccia for this great race, and looking forward to Imola. Thank you to you too.
Thank you.
Thank you, Laura. Bye.
Bye. Yeah, really great, David. I have to say it is a lot of fun, and it keeps getting better every time, so I'm really pumped for the next round, and looking forward to the great action and to see how they improve and what we can see in Imola.
It really is going to be an amazing day out at Imola. You're not going to have too long to wait. 2 weeks time, just 2 weeks to go. 14 days, November the 8th, again at the same time. Join us on stream here as always. Like that YouTube channel, subscribe to it as well, and give us a nice little comment as well. It always helps us do a little bit better. But there we go, we are done and dusted. A huge thank you to our commercial partners, to Coach Dave Academy, to Thrustmaster SimHound for joining us on board this season, and as always to our wonderful production team behind the scenes, and also to you, Laura, for making this season so absolutely enjoyable. Thank you for coming back again, and look forward to seeing you again at Imola.
Thank you so much, and I can say join us on the commentary. Just watch the YouTube channel and have fun racing with us together. Thanks to everyone in the production team. Thanks to David. I'm out and look forward to Imola.
That's it, guys. We'll see you next time. Take it easy. Thanks for watching.